Hi everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden. Okay, so just an update of what is happening today out here on the new property. We have already had contractors here this morning. They've already come and they've left. They were smart. They got here at 7 a.m. and they were out by 11. So they were really smart. We had them replace a couple of the fence panels you can kind of see around here. They did a lot in the front because our painter is going to be painting our fence pretty soon. Not this week, probably not even next week, but pretty soon. So I wanted to get at least the really bad panels replaced. This whole fence needs to be replaced eventually, but I told them, I said, we're just gonna put a band-aid on it for now. And they said that that's totally fine. It will hold up. I'll show you all. We have these little metal bars that are stuck into the ground for concrete that are actually holding the fence up. So even though the fence doesn't look good, it's actually pretty sturdy. And I think that we'll be able to get away with just replacing the fence panels, like, you know, the boards that you can see. So that's good, and that's gonna save us some money. So they've already come and left, and then the painter has already come and left as well. He has masked up everything in the house, like masked up the windows and all that kind of stuff, so that he can start painting tomorrow, which is really exciting. Hopefully the wind doesn't bother you all. I need to start wearing my microphone. I just always forget it and I'm too lazy to go inside and get it. But if the wind really bothers you, I'll start wearing my microphone more. I think that will help with the wind noise a little bit. As I was editing, I noticed some wind noise out here. So you can see the painter has masked up the windows, masked up the doors. He's going to be pulling out these pots and painting the zigzag planter. I just realized that I was really excited to put compost in here, but I'm going to wait until the painter paints it tomorrow because I don't want to get compost all over his he just cleaned this, so I don't want to mess it up already. And then you can see up here, everything's all masked up and ready to go. So that is what's going to happen tomorrow, which is very exciting. But then that means that I don't want to be filling my raised beds. I mean, same thing. I don't want to be filling them with compost and making an absolute mess. Boy, this is looking kind of a mess back here. It will all be so much better once everything's painted tomorrow and we can start moving all this furniture and I can start moving all this cardboard. It just kind of looks like a mess right now, guys. What I want to do today is I want to adjust these. I want to adjust these beds so that they're straight, because they're obviously not straight and I have to lay them out exactly where I need to. I was planning to move the compost today and tomorrow, but because the painter is ready to paint, that's going to get pushed back because, again, I don't want to make a mess on the house until he's done and it dries. So we will probably do that over the weekend. And by we, I mean Jason and I. Yes, I'm roping him in for another project. He really does enjoy helping. He's having fun with it. So I'm just so lucky that he's having fun with it because he can help me with all my crazy ideas. But anyways, I need to fit these. And then I was thinking last night, this is 1-inch irrigation tubing, and I want to tee off of it and have either 1/2-inch tubing, which is the regular big size tubing, or 1/4-inch tubing. And I think I want to do 1/2-inch tubing to get to each bed. And then after that 1/2-inch tubing, I'm going to do 1/4-inch tubing. The problem I was thinking of is you can't just go to Home Depot and buy a T-coupler that goes from 1-inch to 1/2-inch. Like, I even looked online, and I mean, I guess I could find like some PVC, couplers and adjusters. So yeah, I was kind of getting worried about that. So I called an irrigation supply company in the next town over, and I was talking to them about my issue, and they said they can actually make something for me. So I just have to bring a piece of the do I have to bring the 1-inch? I don't think I have to bring the 1-inch, but I have to bring a piece of the 1/2-inch tubing so that they can make me couplers, T-couplers that will come with, I'll show you a picture of a regular T-coupler right now. And they can make me one that has 1-inch and then comes off a 1/2-inch. So I'm super interested to see how that's going to work. So I thought I would bring you all along for that. And right here, in more of a mess in my metal workshop, we have the 1/2-inch. right there, 1/2-inch drip tubing. So he wanted me to bring a piece of this because he wanted to make sure that it was the right size. So I will just go ahead and cut a piece of this and then take it to the irrigation supply place and see if he can make me some of those couplers. So very interested about that. I'll have to wait and see. But before I get started with anything, the main thing that I need to get done today is I need to sow those seeds that I was supposed to sow last night. So this is the trays that I have. They're old, they're, I think, burpee trays, and they worked fine. They worked fine for me, and but I'm just, I sow so many seeds. I do so many seed sowing that they would start to crack, basically. And so I was throwing them away quite often because they were cracking and cracking and cracking, and I am not easy on these things. So I'm just going to use these for now, but like I was saying in yesterday's video, I normally like using the other ones, but they're in the storage facility right now. And then I have this, which is, normally I have that plastic tidy tray, which is how I mix my seed. I like to pre-moisten my seed starting mix. And so normally I do it in that tidy tray and makes it really easy, but of course I don't have that either. So I'm going to be doing that in this thing, which I thought was kind of pretty as well. And then by the end of the day, I got to move all this stuff away so that the painter can get to painting my office as well. So basically I just want to say that this demonstration of seed starting and filling seed trays, not the best demonstration. So if you're a newbie seed starter, watch another video. Don't watch this video because I'm not really going to be doing it how I normally would do it, and that's just because of the restrictions that I have having just moved into this property. So let's get started with the seed sowing. So this is usually the seed starting mix that I use. Can you guys see that? Yes, you can. I just get this from my local garden center. It's just what I'm used to. Let's see if I can open it. So I usually just pour some out into some type of container and then pre-moisten it. And it's really so much easier if you pre-moisten it. I've tried not pre-moistening it, putting it in the trays first and then watering the trays. It's just too hard. So this is much easier. Then you get your hands dirty. Ugh, I wore my nice ring. Okay, I'm gonna get this hand dirty. So, you just kind of mix it all in like that. Try and get all of it moist. And if it's not, you just add more water. And it'll actually take more water than you think it will need. Okay, I think that should be good. Okay, then I just kind of pile the seed starting mix, moistened seed starting mix onto here. And normally with the tidy tray, I'll take one of these out and put it in the tidy tray. But I don't have that right now. So we're gonna do this. Okay, then after it looks like you have your tray all filled, right? This looks totally filled. What I usually do, and I learned this from Florette, what's her name? Erin Benzicain from Florette. I saw her do this once and it works really well for me. I just take it and I drop it. And what you can see is it packs down the cells so that you don't have any air pockets, but you're not pushing them in and compacting them too much. So now that I've dropped it a couple times, I'll just fill it up a little bit more. All right, all done with not too much of a mess, not too bad. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna take these into my office and put these on my seed starting trays because the seeds that I'm gonna put in here are so very tiny, I don't want them to blow away. So I'm gonna do it inside. Okay, here we go. So another thing I can't find are labels. So what I did is I just took toothpicks. I actually do this quite often. Toothpicks, and then I just take some tape, fold it over, and then I write with my garden marker on what they are. And these labels work pretty well for me. So I'm gonna do 1/36 count of the Dalmatian peach, and then I'm going to do half in the Madame Butterfly Rose and half in the Madame Butterfly Ivory. Okay, so the first one I'm gonna do is the Dalmatian Peach Foxglove. And the reason why I'm doing the Dalmatian Peach variety is because this is a foxglove that will bloom first year. I love the Camelot Mix Foxglove. Those will also bloom first year, but I wanted to try the Dalmatian Peach this year. And then you can see on the seed packet, it does say pelleted. And what pelleted means is they've taken the tiny, tiny, tiny seed and they've covered it with a coating so that it's easier to handle. I'll show you in a second. So they're so tiny, they even come in this vial right here. I actually really like it when they come in the vials. But you can see the seeds are covered with that white coating right there, and it just makes it so much easier. That white coating will start dissolving with water. So you'll see as soon as you miss the top of your seeds, it'll start dissolving. And foxglove, you want to top sow. You don't want to cover these at all because they need light to germinate. So it's really important that you have it underneath your grow lights when you're sowing these seeds, and you don't cover it with anything. They say you can cover it with a fine layer of vermiculite. I'm not going to do that simply because I'm not sure where my I think I have some over there. Maybe I'll find some. So anyway, I'm going to put a couple, probably 2 in each cell over here. Okay. And you do not have to buy the pelleted versions. I just think they're so much easier. I've actually harvested some of my Camelot Mix seeds from my foxgloves, and they weren't pelleted, but they were literally like dust. So I was just kind of sprinkling them all over. But then I had to come in and thin them. I will have to thin these. I did, maybe 2, 3, sometimes 4 seeds in each tray. So I will have to come in and thin these once they start growing. And you do want to thin your seedlings because if you leave too many in one tray, then the roots will fight with each other for nutrients and water and sun and all that kind of stuff. So you actually won't get as good of seedlings if there's too many in the same tray. I learned that the hard way. So next one I'm going to do is Madame Butterfly Rose Snapdragons, and these are also very tiny, and these are not pelleted. So you can see it's hard to work with these. So just use a well-lit area and make sure you're not anywhere where there's wind because it will just blow all over the place. So these are another one that you want to surface sow. They do need light to germinate, and because these are the same color, can you see that? Because these are the same color as my soil, I'm gonna go in order. So I'm gonna go down, up, and then down, just so that I don't lose my spot. With the pelleted ones, I can see where I am, so I don't feel as anxious about missing a cell. But when these are the same color as the soil, I just try and go in a specific order. And then finally, last one I have to do for round 1 of cool flower sowing is Madame Butterfly Ivory. This is one of my favorite cut flowers. I love this one. I feel like this one sells out a lot too. It's often out of stock. I do have my vermiculite. So this is fine ground vermiculite. I actually blended this in my blender, my kitchen blender, because the vermiculite that I purchased was more of the coarse stuff, and I really wanted the fine stuff for this purpose for vermiculite right now. So vermiculite is puffed volcanic rock, and it holds moisture a lot better. So they don't, once you water your seeds, you don't want them to dry out, or you won't get any germination. So this really helps with that. So anyway, so this is stuff that I ground in my blender, and it worked pretty well. But there are bags of vermiculite that you can purchase that actually say fine vermiculite, and that's what I'll be doing from now on. I just purchased a really big bag of coarse vermiculite, but if you purchase the fine one, then you don't have to do the thing in the blender. just have to go find a spray bottle. I don't know where anything is, you guys. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, this is either really stupid or genius, but I couldn't find a spray bottle. But I do have my hose, and it does have the mist setting on it. So I'm just gonna mist these right now and see how they do. Never used a hose indoors before. Pretty good. And a little bit of a mess on the back wall, but that's okay. Made a bit of a mess. It's okay, I'll clean it up right now. I don't think I'm gonna be doing that again. Made a little too much of a mess. All right. Now I have to go find something to cover these. You want to cover these with a humidity dome. I don't have a humidity dome here right now, so I think I'm gonna go get saran wrap from the kitchen. Never mind, I have leftover packaging from the lamp that I just opened yesterday. So I am going to reuse. This will be perfect. I told you this was not going to be the right way to sow seeds, but it works. I've got my seeds sown. They're going to be ready in 10 to 12 weeks, and that's just about perfect timing for me to plant them outdoors to get started for the cool flower method this winter. All right, I have made my way to the neighboring town, and I am at the Irrigation supply place, and it is literally called Irrigation Supply, and it's kind of like a warehouse area. The only reason why I know about this place is because my Master Gardeners classes were actually down the street, and somebody in Master Gardeners was talking about this place and saying that it was really good. So I kind of had this place in the back of my mind. So when I knew I needed something weird like a T-coupler for a 1-inch tube that goes into a 1/2 inch, or maybe a 5/8 inch tube. I hope I'm making sense to you guys. Some of you might think I'm talking gibberish, but basically I need something that will take a big tube and bring it down to a smaller tube to where I can even bring it down to spaghetti tubing to where I can get water to my raised beds. You know, not a lot of people use the 1-inch tubing that I'm using in my garden. So I felt like going to a place like this was really smart. And then, you know, he did say to bring a sample of the 1/2 inch tubing that I have, but I only actually have about 100 feet left of that tubing. So I decided not to bring it, and then I was just going to buy new tubing here so that he can match it perfectly to whatever T-couplers he has for the 1-inch tubing. Again, I hope this makes sense. So I'm gonna go inside right now. If it's awkward for me to film, I don't think I'll film, but if it's not, I'll try and get some footage. Okay, so that was no place to be filming. I walked in and it was like just a warehouse, just like a storage warehouse with boxes everywhere. And there was 3 guys standing at a counter, and I thought, I am not filming in here. I'm not embarrassing myself. So anyway, I'll show you all what I got. I ended up getting these guys right here. So these are T-couplers. Tees, but they're giant. They're a lot bigger than I'm used to working with, because normally I'm used to working with 1/2 inch tubing as my big tubing. Now at this new property, I'm working with 1-inch tubing as my big tubing. And then I'll have actually 5/8 inch. So basically the horizontal here and here, 1-inch tubing connects to those. And then to tee off of that, I'm going to tee off with this guy, and this guy fits 5/8 inch tubing, so a little bit smaller. So I will connect the 5/8 inch tubing that I actually just purchased from that place too. I purchased 500 feet, and it was about $40, which is a good price. It's not, you know, it's not like a fantastic price, but it's a good price. And each one of these were $6, I think. So not cheap for these either, but I figure I can at least tap into all my 1-inch tubing and then have the rest of the 5/8 inch tubing all over. Again, lots of numbers. I hope I'm making sense. I should start saying big, medium, little, right? And basically that's how you can think of it. I have the big, the 1 inch, the medium, the 5/8 inch, and then the little, which is a 1/4 inch, or the spaghetti tubing. Anyway, now I am at Home Depot because the other thing that I wanted to do today was, like I said, straighten out those garden beds. I need to straighten them out and I need to space them properly. Even though I don't think we're going to be putting compost in. We're not going to be putting compost in tomorrow. And I talked to Jason about this because we don't want the compost dust getting on the newly, freshly painted white house. So we're just going to leave that there. We might even tarp it or something like that. But we don't want to mess with the paint at all. So we're going to push that off probably till 2 days after to let the paint totally dry and all that kind of stuff, because that's just way too important. But we can still kind of get them straightened up, and then I can get them hooked up with drip. So there's still prep that we can do. Anyway, I am at Home Depot because I am going to get stakes and string, and that was some of your suggestions, just so that you can have the string up and then we can align all the beds and have the beds straight, and then measure from there and I'm gonna have 4 foot gaps and 6 foot gaps between the garden beds. So I feel totally fine filming in Home Depot, so let's go. You know, I can also look here and see if I can find any pretty flowers for my zigzag planter. I can't plant that up until Sunday anyway, 2 days after the painter paints, but at least I can see what they have. A little bit of plant shopping. Okay, first thing first, what I came here for, those, and here we go. And these. Okay. Back to the garden center to look at plants. All right, let's see what they have. I think I want to look for some purple fountain grass because it'll look really good this fall, and then I can just transplant it out of the zigzag garden bed and into my regular garden beds. Purple fountain grass does super, super well for us. Let's see how good these look though. It's okay. How much? 20 bucks. No. I can do better than that. Here, 10 bucks. No, this is smaller. What do we think? A couple of those? Yeah, I think so. This one's already blooming. Yeah, I think so. Yep, these will be pretty. Look at that. Won't that be beautiful? Right? Very fall. Those are nice too. Ooh, I think I like these. Look at that. Isn't that perfect? Okay, I need room in my cart. I need more room. Jason's gonna roll his eyes at me. I don't care. And with just the tiniest bit of day left, we have been working on the straightening up the garden beds. And by we, I mean Jason, because I was making dinner and cleaning up, and he is a little bit more particular than I am. Wouldn't you say that, babe?
Yeah, a little bit.
He gets mad at me because I'm like, oh, it's good enough. So he wants it, like this one, he was doing this one, and he was like, it's a 1/2 inch off. Am I right?
Yeah, too much.
This is ridiculous. All right, so you can see these are, oh, geez. This is a mess back here. These are starting to look good. This is the center. So we kind of made the center one right here. And I kind of just did that by eye, kind of where I thought I wanted my greenhouse to go. My greenhouse is going to block a little bit of the barn back there, but I think I'm okay with that. You're still going to be able to see the barn, but I have no other place right now for my greenhouse to go, and I kind of want it to be, you know, like a focal point for this time in my garden. So it's going to kind of be, these are going to be centered around that, and then again I will put something big here, not too big, because I was thinking about putting my tutor that I made. Where is it? Where did it go? Where's my tutor?
It's anchoring the line.
Anchoring the line?
Anchoring the right angle line off the shed. Go around the corner of the shed.
Oh, what? What did you do? Oh, there it is. God, look at this. Man, talk about not doing anything the proper way today. I did seed sowing earlier today, and I told everybody I wasn't going to do a good job because I don't have any of my supplies. And that is just another perfect example of working with what we've got. All right, I think we are officially out of light at this point. So we got half of them done. We got 4 of them straightened out, right? You're all done straightening these out?
Not exactly. 3 are straightened, the 4th is not there yet.
It's like a ½ inch off, I think. All right, so you can see the left 4 are looking nice and straight. They are perfectly squared because Jason has been measuring nonstop, just like he's doing right now. And the first 2, this gap is a 4-foot gap. Then there's a 6-foot gap, and then there's another 4-foot gap, and it's going to be the same thing on this side. And then we actually did tack these down with these little things. These came with, that one needs to be tacked down more, but you can see these came with these things. Jason's hammering them in, and so that will keep it from blowing away. I don't think they're going to blow away. I don't know. I don't want to say that. I don't know what it's like. I don't know what wind is like in the country, but hopefully those will keep them tacked down, and then we will fill them with compost. And then again, I'm probably going to do a couple inches of the wood chips, the mulch layer. So yeah, this whole place is, I think it's going to look really, really nice when we're done. So we still got to get those done. Jason he said he was going to work until it's dark out. Is that right?
Yeah.
Because you get
More light.
Because you get obsessed with things like these.
Almost done.
It's almost done. He'll have these done before he goes to bed tonight. So that is good. It's good to have a balance in a relationship, right? We're balanced. We're balanced. I will be going inside and helping the girls get ready for bed. I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today. You almost done?